But today, Jerry Rawlings is unemployed. He was sacked from the forces by the civilian government to which he handed over power. He now lives in a small flat with his wife, a designer, and spends his time driving round on his motorbike, trying to keep alive the ideals of his June the 4th revolution. What sort of a society are we trying to create here in Ghana?
Shall we call it a balanced society in every respect? You know, where everybody's potential will be acknowledged. I mean, where we'll have, let's put it this way, a dignified society. You know, where justice will be seen to. And generally speaking, a more equitable distribution of the country's wealth. You see, the recognition of the creative talent within us that's been lying dormant, consciously or unconsciously being suppressed. You know?
And now, a year later, after the handover to civilian rule, how does the country measure up those original ideals?
As far as the prices of food items are concerned, it's shot up again, you know. It's even worse than it was before we came in. But what I'm more concerned about is what appears to be an attempt to restore the pre-June 4th order. And it's going to create a lot of problems. It's almost like an attempt to re-cage the people, you know, to stop them from trying to assert themselves as a result of the awareness that has come about as a result of June 4th.
The main aim of Jerry Rawlings and the AFRC was to stamp out kalabule, an all too common Ghanaian word for profiteering, racketeering and corruption. Market women were accused of hoarding food in order to force up black market prices. Kalabule was checked for a time, but not for long. The new civilian government has only been in power for 9 months, but inflation is around 100% and food is being sold at well over recommended prices. At this market in Accra, the market women were asking 4 cedis, about 75p or the lowest minimum day's wage, for a few tomatoes or a bunch of bananas. A small bag of rice was going for 600 cedis, compared to the recommended price of 120. A tin of milk was going for 5 cedis instead of 0.75, and sardines for 8 instead of 1.6. And this in a country where the average wage is 200 cedis, just over £30 a month. The result, inevitably, has been a demand for wage increases and strikes. Workers from GHOC, Ghana's biggest state holding company, are striking over the government not approving their 15% pay rise and the fact that only managers are being given an extra cost of living allowance. They are angry, but by British standards, not exactly militant. They lobbied Parliament, and there was trouble when hungry workers grabbed for the MP's breakfasts. The government reaction was to sack all 8,000 GHOC workers and tell them to reapply. So they blame their poverty on the government. How tough has life been for your workers then?
Oh, terrible. Because honestly speaking, some of them even take water as their breakfast.
They just have water for breakfast.
That's right.
What is your reaction then to the civilian government? You were promised that there would be no more corruption, that they would continue the good work of the AFRC.
Yeah.
Do you agree that the AFRC were doing good work?
Yeah, we agree with the AFRC.
So what is your reaction now to what's going on?
No, our reaction is simply disappointment. We are only disappointed, that's all.
A world away from the calm diplomacy of the castle, the president's predecessor goes visiting. Rawlings has refused to leave the country for an easy life on training courses, safely out of the way, like other members of his AFRC. He has stayed on, a man without a party, but determined to keep alive the ideals of June the 4th. When he visits a village outside Accra, he tries to enthuse the people to help themselves.